When I was 17, I joined the Army to acquire some college money and see the world. I joined during the first Gulf War, and I ended up getting stationed in Germany, where I was raped and stalked and harassed for reporting it by my comrades. They told me I was not telling the truth. It was the hardest thing I've ever dealt with in my life. I was in this club and walked in and saw this guy that had helped me earlier in the day at the finance office, another soldier, and he had written me a check for $900 that day. So I figured he was someone of authority, and I wanted to thank him for having given me my check. So kind of in passing, I said, hey, thanks for today. And he was like, hey, no problem. Hey, can you come outside? I want to talk to you. And I said, sure, okay. So I just stepped outside of the club, down 2 flights of stairs, and we were kind of outside at this point. And he says, the music's still too loud right here, and I need to tell you something about your paycheck. So I'm like, okay. So I go around the building and up a 2-story fire escape with this guy. And as soon as we hit the landing where, he kind of went to go sit down, I got kind of like, I stopped like behind him. I had been following him, and he kind of bounced off of the staircase, and he grabbed me and kicked my legs apart and threw me over this wrought iron railing like he had done this before. Like I was just whipped around. It happened so fast, and this guy was so strong. And I remember just sitting there holding on to that railing, putting pressure on from my arms onto the railing, trying to keep my diaphragm lifted off of this wrought iron thing as this guy raped me from behind. I remember all the pain, and I remember not wanting to fight because I tried to fight initially, and it was getting to be to my disadvantage to be doing that. So, while he was roughing me up, I was concentrating on breathing and trying to get an idea of my surroundings, because I was like, now I was on the side, or actually in the back kind of this club, up a dark fire escape. After he was done raping me, I tried to get away twice, and he grabbed my hair. And so it's like I knew both ways, up or down, were not an option. He was going to hurt me some more. And so I just threw my leg over this railing once I could get a little space from him, thinking that I was just going to dangle or find a way to get down from this horrible situation. And I didn't even get to get my other leg over the railing before he pushed me with a lot of force that, I just flung off the building. I dropped 2 stories to the ground. I woke up with my skirt up to my chest, and I was naked from the waist down. I was laying in dirt next to some railroad tracks, and it was pitch dark, and all I could see were the taxis that were lining up to pick up soldiers. And I just grabbed the back of my skirt, jumped in that taxi, and went home. And I took a shower, the longest shower of my life. The Army's the kind of place where you can't just sleep in, They're going to come knock your door down and be like, what's wrong with you, private, right? So I go, and I have to run with my next door neighbor, who was a 30-year-old woman, and she was deemed my battle buddy, where she would be the woman connection that I would have, and someone to take care of me and show me around. So I had been on this base for like maybe 3 days, and this lady was a lady. She was a woman. She was 30, and she was assigned to take care of me. So I kind of felt like she was going to. So we're on this run, and I collapsed with abdominal cervical pain. And she asked me, oh my God, what's wrong? And I said, my stomach hurts. I said, last night, so-and-so raped me. And she was like, so-and-so? And I said, yeah, I don't know. Do you know him? Like, all I know is that last night I was raped, and now, like, feel like I'm dying inside. And she was like, so-and-so, he has a wife, she was with him last night. She's pregnant. Like, he would never rape you. He doesn't even like girls like you. You're not his type. And she goes, you're just a new private. You're probably just a little slut. You don't know who you fucked. After I was raped, I tried to report it to another female soldier, a female sergeant, a nurse, a doctor, my female sergeant's boss, who was a male E6. And at that point, everybody had rejected me. And they all had their own opinions, but the bottom line was this is not a reportable offense. Some of them said, we don't believe you. Some of them had no opinion at all. They were just writing down on paper, the doctor and nurse. And yeah, no MPs showed up. Nobody reported it. And I was devastated. I was just like, I could not believe that these were other human beings that could do this to another human being. How could they reject what I was desperately begging for help with? I needed counseling, I knew I needed to talk to somebody that understood, and nobody did. It was after that I just kind of gave up, I shut down. I couldn't even ask those questions. I completely became a beaten puppy dog who was just there to like robot and get by. Inside I was crumbled. I questioned my very ability to like feed myself or stay alive or be a soldier. I just didn't know what I was capable of anymore. My soul was shattered. It was the hardest year in Germany after that, where it was just like I was a slut, and they called me all sorts of names, and nobody heard me, nobody cared. And I was afraid. My rapist was still on my base, so he could have come back at any time, and he did stalk me several times. And that scared the shit out of me. And I told about that too, and nobody cared. The same people, because it's my chain of command. I have to report it to the same people. If you go out of the chain of command, you're in trouble. The depression is that bad. I take Prozac. I take a sleeping medication to, get me to sleep and keep me asleep for a fair amount of time so I don't have any nightmares, which I still have, but they're way better. So some medications I stay on just to, maintain a fair enough balance in my life to be able to interact with other human beings, which is like all we want to be able to do, right? Is love our kids and be connected with our families.